Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to section Medieval Point 2.2 on Hexachords and the Guidonian hand. So, we've seen Guido before. He was the one who promulgated the four-line staff, modern staff, Guido staff. And his big thing was that he wanted singers to be able to learn new tunes from sight, or at sight, rather than having to learn them by rote. So part of this program was the staff, and the other part was developing methods for looking at notes and figuring out how they sounded. And so he came up with the Guidonian hand. So first off, delightful diagram. Going to take it away now. It'll probably come back. So at this time, the Guidonian hand diagram was just as important as the circle of fifths is today. All singers have hands. Footnote. And each of the pitches from G2 up to E5 is associated with a specific point on the hand. So could be a fingertip, could be a knuckle, or even the last note is just a point in the air because he ran out of places on the hand. So the order that this goes is a Widdershins spiral from the thumb, 1, all the way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across these lower knuckles here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 across the fingertips, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 20. And these are the pitches from a G2, A2, B2, C3, all the way up to E5. So a couple of notes here in this particular diagram. You have a version of an F clef here, because this F that's located here on the hand is the one that the F clef identifies. You also have a more recognizable one over there. You have a C clef up here, because that's the C that our C clef identifies. And then you even have a rudimentary G clef, which develops into the treble clef over here. So you see clefs identified with the notes that they mark. And then next to each note is one or more syllables. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, and la. So Guido's idea was, hey, if we just can remember how ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la sound in comparison to each other, and we can kind of move that up and down, then we can figure out pretty much everything. And the reason he chose those syllables is he found a hymn. And this hymn has lines, and each line begins with the next highest note. So ut, ut queant laxis, re sonare fibris, miria gestoram, famulituorum, solve polluti, lapireatum sancte Ioannes. That's right. Sancte Ioannes. There we go. But the point here is that ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. That's where his syllables came from, because it was associated with this hymn. And this translates to the modern concept of solfege, which, depending on what oral skill system you use, I use scale degrees, other people use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. And if you've seen The Sound of Music, you know do, a deer, a female deer, re, a drop of golden sun. That's exactly the same thing as Guido's hymn that he chose. The reason that we have do now instead of ut is people decided that ut doesn't, it's not as easy to sing. You have re, that's nice and open, mi, fa, but then you have ut, not as great to sing. So they were like, what should we sing instead? And they ended up with do, and coincidentally, it was the musicologist Giovanni Battista Doni that coined that. Go figure. Anyway, These 6 pitches together are known as the hexachord. So 6 notes, if you think about a hexagon, 6 sides. And you could start this hexachord on different notes. It was movable, like our scale degrees are movable. You could start it on G, you could start it on C, or you could start it on F. So you could have any individual note, there's my hand, be part of a single hexachord. So this one starts on G, so this can just be oud. This hexachord goes oud, re, mi, fa, but then this is a C, so we can start a hexachord here as well. So that could be oud, re. So that's why you have multiple syllables, because it's part of some of these notes are part of 2 or even 3 hexachords. So you could start on G, C, or F, and each note has a unique set of syllables, and this is sometimes how you call them. Like nowadays we say G2 or C3, but their understanding of C3 was C, C, fa, ut, because that was the only C that had that combination of syllables. The lowest note, G2, is known as gamma, ut. Gamma is a Greek letter, and that's where our modern word gamut comes from. So the important thing is here. We have a hand that we can use to identify each of the 20 notes that medieval musicians tended to use, and you have this hexachord of 6 notes that's movable. It's just a system for understanding how notes relate to each other. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, which corresponds to our modern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's enough to be going on with. I will see you next time.